can hear this, please listen. We have to stop them before 2016 ends.
VNO Creation Lab.
Echo Between Seconds. Written by Vaidotas Navasaitis. Narrated by V&O Creation Lab. Published by V&O Creation Lab. Echo Between Seconds. Chapter 1. Whispers of the Old Town. Lucas's apartment smelled of old paper and dust, stirred by the slanting rays of sunset spilling through the window. On the table stood his life's work, the prototype of the Chronos-Audio. A tangled creature of wires, vintage radio tubes and modern processors, it looked less like a scientific device and more like a failed art installation.
"All right, one more time,"
Lucas muttered, lowering the heavy headphones onto his ears. He turned the tuning dial. Static washed over him. Shh, like an ocean scraping against his skull. He was searching for acoustic echoes. The theory claimed that sound never truly vanished. It only grew too faint for human ears to detect. Then the static shifted. Lucas froze. What came through the headphones wasn't the clatter of old horse hooves or distant street noise. It was something far more familiar.
"Where did I put that brush? Oh, not again."
Lucas tore off the headphones. The room was silent except for the hum of his refrigerator. He put the headphones back on.
"Who are you?"
He asked into the microphone, feeling ridiculous. A man talking to ghosts. Silence stretched. Then,
"Who's this?" "Grandpa, are you messing with that old radio again? I told you that antenna in the middle of the room drives me crazy."
Lucas stopped breathing. The voice was so clear it felt like the girl was standing right behind him.
"I'm not your grandfather. My name is Lukas. I'm in this apartment on the Teratu Street."
"So what? I'm on Literatu Street too." "But I don't see you."
A bright, bell-like sound in his ears.
"Where are you hiding? In the closet?"
Lucas glanced at his calendar. January 25th, 2026.
"What year is it for you?"
he asked, heart pounding.
"The year? Did you drink wine on a Tuesday? It's 2016, January 25th, Tuesday. And I have an exam tomorrow, so if this is a prank, cut it out."
Lucas slowly sat down. 10 years. He was speaking to the past. Chapter 2. Proof on the Walls. Lucas didn't sleep that night. He sat with the headphones on, but Elena, that was her name as she later revealed, didn't return to her radio. Morning arrived grey and damp, a typical Vilnius dawn.
"Elena, are you there?"
Soon as the first light touched the window.
"Still here, weirdo. I dreamed of numbers and men in grey coats all night because of you. Listen, if you're really who you say you are, prove it."
Lucas thought. How do you prove the future to someone who hasn't lived it yet?
"All right. In your room, in the corner near the radiator, is there a loose piece of wallpaper?"
"How do you know that? My cat tore it last week."
"Under that wallpaper, on the wall, I just wrote your name and today's date. Except my date is 2026.
Silence. Lucas could hear her breathing. He grabbed a black marker and wrote on his wall, the place where, in his time, the wallpaper had long been replaced with paint, but beneath it the old plaster still slept. Elena plus Lukas. Time is only an illusion.
"There is nothing here, Lucas. Just a blank wall. and my cat's paw prints.
A pang of doubt hit him. Was this all a hallucination? A glitch? But then he remembered physics. Sound travels faster than matter changes.
Elena, wait. Scratch deeper. Past the paint.
A minute passed. Then a metallic scraping. Then a gasp.
Oh my God. The letters. They look old, but they're here. But how? You said you're writing them now, but I'm finding them under layers of paint that were here before I moved in.
Elena,
Lukas whispered, smiling through sudden tears.
I wrote them now, but in your time, they've always been there. We found a hole in time.
Chapter 3. Coffee in 2 timelines. Over the next 2 weeks, Lukas and Elena created a ritual. Lukas woke at 7 o'clock, brewed coffee, and switched on the device. Elena did the same. They sat at the same table, looked out the same window, though in Lukas's time, Literatu Street had more cars and new cafes, while in Elena's time, everything looked simpler, quieter.
What do you see outside?
A big old maple tree. It's grown a lot. And your neighbor's balcony? It's painted bright red now.
Red? Horrible. I see you, Lukas. Well, I imagine you. You're sitting where my bread is right now.
Warmth spread through him. For the first time in years, he didn't feel alone. He told her about the future, pocket computers, new films, how Vilnius had changed. She told him about art exhibitions, her fears of becoming a useless artist.
You won't be useless. I've seen your drawings, Elena. Not all of them, but I found one sketch hidden behind the ventilation grate. It's beautiful.
Behind the vent? I'll hide it there next week, after I argue with my professor. You just told me what I'm going to do.
Lukas smiled. It was light, romantic, and terrifying all at once. They became each other's diaries. He was her prophet of the future. She was his lost colour of the past. The pocket in time. Lukas spent the entire day with a meter in his hands. If sound could travel across a decade, then somewhere in this apartment the fabric of space-time had to be thinner. He searched for a 0 point, a place where entropy dipped, where time folded in on itself.
Elena, go to the kitchen.
Into the microphone.
By the old stove, 3rd tile from the bottom. Does it move?
A breath, then a triumphant shout.
Yes! It wiggles a little. But there's nothing here, Lukas. Just dry glue and dust.
Wait. I'm going to put something into that empty space. Right now.
A dried sprig of lavender he'd bought that morning at the market, wrapped it in a slip of paper. Greetings from the future, 2026. He slid it into the crack on his side of time.
Nothing. Still nothing. Maybe matter can't travel. Maybe we're stuck with voices only.
Look again. Push the tile deeper into the wall.
Silence. Then a gasp, sharp, breathless, disbelieving.
Lavender. It still smells. It's real. But the paper. Lukas, it looks brand new. But in my hands it should be 10 years old.
To you, it is new.
Lukas said softly, closing his eyes in relief.
Gravity behind the tile. It's a pocket in time. A place where time doesn't pass. Anything I put there arrives to you instantly, untouched by years.
They didn't send anything else. They simply sat with the knowledge that the lavender sprig Lukas had touched a minute ago now lay in Elena's palm in the past. For the first time, their connection had weight. It had mattered. It had a scent. Chapter 5. The Formula of Love. Grew bolder. She began leaving him gifts, old movie tickets from films they watched together. He streamed the same titles in 2026, or sketches drawn on cafe napkins. One evening, they talked about things money couldn't buy.
I like your voice, Lukas. It's so calm. Sometimes I forget we're 10 years apart. It feels like you're just on the other side of the wall. Like if I pressed my hand hard enough into the plaster, my fingers would touch your sweater.
I'm wearing a dark blue sweater, the same one you found in the closet under the floorboards, right?
Yes. It smelled like you, even though I didn't know who you were yet. I washed it and kept it. It's hanging on my chair right now.
Action grew dangerously romantic. Lukas began arriving late to work at the university. He stopped meeting friends. His world shrank to 10 square meters on Literatu Street. He lived for the moments when Elena's laughter filled his headphones. But one night changed everything. Driven by scientific curiosity, or perhaps a subconscious fear, Lukas searched for Elena online. He had never dared before, afraid to break the spell. He typed, Elena Vance, artist, Vilnius. Several articles from late 2016 appeared. His stomach dropped. Tragic loss in the art world. Young artist Elena Vance dies in a car accident on August 12th. Lukas looked at his calendar. Late January, 2026. He swallowed hard and asked,
What month is it for you?
February 1st. Why? Oh, I drew your portrait today. Want me to leave it in the pocket?
Didn't answer. He stared at the obituary. Elena had 6 months left. Chapter 6. The Decision. Lukas paced the apartment all night. He knew the great rule of time. Change the past, and you risk destroying the present. If he warned Elena, she wouldn't drive that day. She would live. But if she lived, would she move out of the apartment? Would he ever find her traces? Would he ever build the Chronos device without the obsession to hear her voice?
Lukas? You've been silent for an hour. Did something happen in the future? Is there a war? Or did you find someone else?
Lukas pressed his forehead against the wall, the one where her name slept beneath the paint.
Elena, do you trust me?
Anyone in this time.
I promise you we'll meet. But you have to do exactly what I say. We need to change your calendar.
He made his choice. He wouldn't tell her the whole truth, not yet. He wouldn't terrify her with the details of the accident. But he would guide her. He would become her guardian angel across time. Chapter 7. The Professor's Shadow. Lukas didn't stay in the apartment for coffee with Elena. He felt as if he were carrying a bomb in his chest. The knowledge of her death burned inside him. He needed answers. The corridors of Vilnius University's physics faculty smelled of old chalk and ozone. Lukas knocked on Professor Bartkus's office door. Bartkus was a legend, a man who had spent half his life studying quantum entropy, and who lately spoke more and more about the mechanics of fate.
Sir.
Lukas began, sitting across from the old wooden desk cluttered with manuscripts.
Is it possible for sound to become a bridge? If we caught an echo from the past, could that echo hear us back?
Bartkus slowly lifted his eyes. His gaze was sharp, but tinged with sorrow.
You're talking about the apartment on Literatu Street, aren't you?
Rose. The professor stood, walked to the window and stared out at the courtyard for a long moment.
Is a time knot, an anomaly that existed even before the war. I lived there in the 90s. Back then there was no Chronos device, just an old telephone line that sometimes connected to numbers that hadn't been invented yet.
Felt his breath catch.
You had someone on the other side too?
I did. A girl named Maria. She called me from 1944. I tried to warn her about the approaching front. Tried to tell her where to hide.
And what happened?
Nothing. Every time I told her the truth, the connection broke. Time protects itself, Lukas. It has an immune system against interference. If you try to save your girl by telling her directly about the accident, the connection will vanish forever. She will die, and you will be left in silence, without even a goodbye.
Chapter 7. The Professor's Shadow. Lukas didn't stay in the apartment for coffee with Elena. He felt as if he were carrying a bomb in his chest. The knowledge of her death burned inside him. He needed answers. The corridors of Vilnius University's physics faculty smelled of old chalk and ozone. Lukas knocked on Professor Bartkus's office door. Bartkus was a legend, a man who had spent half his life studying quantum entropy, and who lately spoke more and more about the mechanics of fate.
Sir.
Lukas began, sitting across from the old wooden desk cluttered with manuscripts.
Is it possible for sound to become a bridge? If we caught an echo from the past, could that echo hear us back?
Bartkus slowly lifted his eyes. His gaze was sharp, but tinged with sorrow.
You're talking about the apartment on Literatu Street, aren't you?
Rose. The professor stood, walked to the window, and stared out at the courtyard for a long moment.
Is a time knot, an anomaly that existed even before the war. I lived there in the 90s. Back then there was no Chronos device, just an old telephone line that sometimes connected to numbers that hadn't been invented yet.
Felt his breath catch.
You had someone on the other side too?
I did. A girl named Maria. She called me from 1944. I tried to warn her about the approaching front. Tried to tell her where to hide.
And what happened?
Nothing. Every time I told her the truth, the connection broke. Time protects itself, Lukas. It has an immune system against interference. If you try to save your girl by telling her directly about the accident, the connection will vanish forever. She will die, and you will be left in silence, without even a goodbye.
Chapter 8. The Secret Message. When Lukas returned home, he found the kitchen tile slightly shifted. Inside lay a folded piece of paper, Elena's handwriting.
You were strange this morning. Your voice was shaking. I know you're hiding something. I drew you again. This time, you're looking at me through glass I can't break. Please don't disappear. If the future is terrible, just tell me. I'll try to be strong.
His forehead to the cool wall. He couldn't tell her the truth, but he could redirect her.
Elena, are you there?
He asked into the microphone.
I thought you'd gone back to your 2026 forever.
Elena, listen carefully. I can't explain why, but I need you to promise me something. It's important.
I'm listening.
On August 12th, I want you to stay home. No driving, No buses. Don't leave the apartment. Lock the door. Paint. Just spend that day inside. Promise me.
Silence stretched. Lukas could hear the February wind of 2016 brushing against her window.
Lukas, does something happen that day? Did you read it in your history books?
To meet you. And if you don't promise, I'm afraid that in 2026, I'll be alone with this machine.
All right, I promise. But then you have to promise me something too.
Anything.
On August 12th in your time, go to Bernardine Gardens, to the big fountain, 6 o'clock. If I survive my day, I'll leave something for you there. Something to prove I'm still here, even after 10 years.
Chapter 9. Errors in Time. Lukas began counting the days. In Elena's timeline, time seemed to move faster, at least to him. Every conversation was now shadowed by the approaching date. But time began to rebel. One evening, Lukas noticed the walls of his apartment had changed. Where smooth paint had been, a faint floral pattern appeared. Elena's wallpaper.
Elena, what are you doing?
To redecorate, I found some old wallpaper in the attic. Yellow, with little flowers. Do you like it?
Lukas looked at his wall. In 2026, the modern grey paint was being overwritten by yellow flowers from 2016. The past was bleeding into the present. It was dangerous. Professor Barkas had been right. Change too much, and timelines begin to scrape against each other. If Elena altered the apartment too drastically, Lukas might wake in a world where he had never become a scientist, or where the building had been demolished.
Anna, stop. Don't touch the walls. Don't change anything. Just live.
But Lukas, I want you to see me. If I leave traces here, maybe you'll find me not just through the headphones.
In that moment, Lukas understood the terrifying truth. Elena didn't just want to survive. She wanted to reach him. She began creating secret hiding places in the apartment, slipping photos behind baseboards, writing notes on the tops of door frames. Lukas walked through the apartment like a museum that was filling itself in real time. He found objects that hadn't existed an hour earlier. Chapter 10. August the 12th. August 12th, 2026, dawned strangely quiet in Vilnius. Lukas sat beside the Chronos device, its tubes glowing with a fierce white light as if they were trying to melt themselves and spill into another decade. He whispered into the microphone.
Elena, are you inside?
There.
She answered, but her voice was different. Behind it roared a deep, unsettling hum.
Lukas, there's a terrible storm outside. Trees are snapping like twigs. The sky turned green. I've never seen Vilnius like this.
Lukas checked the archives on his phone. August 12th, 2016. One of the most violent storms of the decade.
Stay home, Elena. No matter what happens. If someone knocks, if the power goes out, don't leave the apartment.
I'm scared, Lukas. The whole place is shaking. It feels like the walls want to collapse. And the name you wrote on my wall, it started glowing.
A violent burst of static ripped through his headphones. Lukas tore them off. His ears rang. The Chronos device began to smoke. Numbers on the display spun wildly. 2016, 2026, 1994, 2030.
The time knot is opening,
muttered, grabbing a fire extinguisher. The apartment began to shift around him. His modern curtains vanished, replaced by Elena's linen ones. Her paintbrushes appeared on the table beside his laptop. 2 timelines collided in the same room.
Elena!
The voice came from the far corner, not through the headphones, but through the air itself. He ran toward the wardrobe, but found only shimmering air, trembling like heat above asphalt. He reached out and felt warmth. For a single heartbeat, he felt slender fingers brush his palm. Then they dissolved like a snowflake. A deafening thunderclap erupted in 2016. The connection snapped. The Chronos device exploded, filling the room with acrid smoke. Silence fell. The apartment returned to its 2026 form. Elena's wallpaper was gone. Only grey walls remained. The silence was absolute. Chapter 11. The Bernardine Gardens. Or his computer, hands trembling. He was terrified to type her name, terrified to see the same obituary. Finally, he forced himself. Elena Vance, artist. The first result? Elena Vance opens new exhibition in Vilnius, December 2025. A laugh burst from Lukas's chest, wild, breathless, mixed with tears. She lived. She had defied fate. The article read, "The artist who miraculously avoided death 10 years ago after deciding not to attend her exhibition opening due to a strange intuition." He looked at the clock. 17:40. He ran. Down Literatu Street, past St. Anne's Church, into the Bernardine Gardens. His heart pounded with hope and fear. 1800. Lukas stood by the great fountain. Water arced upward, catching the golden light of sunset. People walked by, children laughed, but he saw only one figure. A woman sat at the fountain's edge. She wore a dark blue sweater, the same one she had once found beneath the floorboards. An open sketchbook lay beside her. She lifted her gaze. It was her. 10 years older, but unmistakably Elena. Lukas approached slowly. She stood, studied his face, compared it, perhaps, to the portrait she had drawn from imagination in 2016.
You're 10 years late, Lukas.
Smiling the same familiar smile. She reached out her hand. This time it didn't vanish. Warm fingers closed around his.
I heard you. Every August 12th, I came here and waited. I believed that one day you'd step out of the static.
Epilogue. An echo made real. Lukas and Elena returned to the apartment on Literatu Street. It was no longer a time knot. It was simply home. The Chronos device lay packed away in a box in the basement, no longer needed. Elena walked to the kitchen wall, to the spot where Lukas's message still slept beneath layers of paint. She placed her hand on it.
You know what I did the night the storm ended?
What?
Left you another gift under the floorboards. Not lavender. Something meant to last.
Lukas lifted the same loose plank where he had once found her sweater. A small, sealed jar lay beneath it. Inside was a Polaroid photograph. Elena, smiling in the sunlight of 2016, their apartment window behind her. On the edge of the photo, in her handwriting, "I'll be waiting for you in the future. Don't forget to buy milk." Lukas laughed and pulled her into an embrace. Time was no longer their enemy. It had become the foundation of their story. Sometimes, to meet someone, you don't need to travel through space. You only need to listen to the silence between the seconds. The end. Copyright 2026 by Vaidotas Navasaitis. Production copyright 2026 by V&O Creation Lab. Thanks for listening.